What's going on, y'all? Happy Tuesday. It is January 19th, and today freaking Netflix, activated the printers today, y'all. After hours, man. They turned up and then some. Hey, look at that. The 12% after hours. This is a little bit disaccurate in Robinhood, but it's Robinhood. Like 12, 13% after hours, man. $61 move. That is insane. So as you know, if you guys were watching the watch list yesterday, I was saying that like Netflix might have not have reported that well, in my opinion, and that was me being biased because of me having Disney Plus. But aside from that, as you can see, they killed it. They killed it. They actually said that they beat all estimates. They just announced that they just reached 200 million subscribers globally, which is insane. And so, like, there's a lot of good positive catalysts going for Netflix now. And not only that, but there's also the major thing that's been passing along around investors on Twitter and whatnot. They're saying that they are finally positive cash flow. And we're going to go over that in a few. But there's a few things that also happened aside from Netflix burning up today and turning on the printers. Man, I saw that shit after hours while I was working. I'm like, I'm glad I didn't put in any bets on that jump. I'm glad I didn't put any calls or puts options, or rather put options in there. All right, so there was a few things that happened. Like we said yesterday, Yellen was speaking today, and if you don't know who Janet Yellen is, she is the new Secretary Treasurer. She's replacing Mnuchin, and she's in there with Biden. And she spoke, and it was her hearing today, and she said a few things. One thing in particular that kind of made the market do a little double take. It was like, what the fuck? Hold up, bitch. What? You said what now? You said everything was good until you said that. But yeah, she said that she wants to rush a second relief stimulus package. Basically, she wants to rejuvenate the economy and whatnot, create more stimulus, get people more buying and whatnot. She also mentioned that she wants to work with Biden on climate change and things with dealing with renewable energy and clean energy. I felt as though that was already priced into those particular stocks. However, I think that can be a boost for the EV companies because she also made mention of helping Biden to invest in EV jobs more so in the States, like kind of like the Made in America thing. I don't know if you're familiar with like a Made in America philosophy where we're buying and selling from things that we make here in our own country. The majority of the shit that us Americans buy is freaking imported from mostly China. And that's one thing that we wanted to steer away from, especially with all these companies, as you can see, is a shit ton of EV companies that are Chinese based. And there's very few US based companies. Now, however, there is, of course, one that actually has some plants here. They're starting to get some plants here. But even Tesla, of course, they have the majority of them here, but I believe General Motors, Ford, like everybody that's like going into the EV market, they generally have their bases outside of the States. So that's something that she also spoke of. I'm going to be looking at Solo a little bit tomorrow too, and see how they react because they're a Canadian-based company and they are a niche market. And we spoke of Solo so many different times here. But I'm a strong believer in it. I'm very long on the company, and it's one of those rare companies that I'm like, oh shit, I see huge potential because of the fact that they are attacking a unique part of the EV market, not that many other people are doing. But I digress. She also mentioned that, and this is why the market like did a what? Part. She wants to look at local and state tax policies, but the key thing was that she wants to repeal the 2017 corporate tax breaks that were done on the wealthy and large corporations back then. And if you're unfamiliar, definitely do a Google search of that. But those back then, they cut a huge deal where corporations took killing. I'm talking like either they did buybacks on their own stock, like they were supposed to invest in their own company, like provide jobs. Nah, they were buying back their own stock and shit. When they bottom line, you feel me? It's fucked up, but that's what they were doing. But yeah, so she touched bases on those few things. The market was like, we like it, but not really. And as you can see, initially when she made mention of that, it dipped. It said, hold up, bitch, what? And then it started coming back up here. Well, this was my overall portfolio, but talking about the SPY. And yes, if you don't know, I use the SPY to basically make my moves in the market. And this is where it dipped. When they were like, hold up, bitch, what? What you talking about? You want to do what? You want to repeal taxes? Hold on. And then the market's like, you know what? You're cool. Janet, you're cool. And then it continued up. So the market held strong today. It was very, very good. As far as the plays go, speaking more on Netflix, yes. So Netflix burnt the fuck up, as we already stated multiple times. Their growth was expected was 6 million subs. They made 8.3 million. That is insane. If you think about that, like a lot of people were at home, especially internationally, they're on lockdown or whatever. I wasn't expecting, because Netflix didn't, like, to me, I mean, I could also, it's a bias because I have Disney Plus. They didn't have that many good shows on there. Like nothing that was like really drawing. Like, I mean, besides Stranger Things and a few things that are like old school and reminiscent and stuff like that, like nostalgia. But like other than that, I was like, well, Netflix is like, eh. But then I thought about it after I read more about it and I was looking into the news. They were even talking about that the most growth came from their indie shows and like in their international market, like Lupin, something I actually want to watch too. 'Cause I heard a lot of good things. But that's where the majority of their revenue grew. And so they must have gotten a lot of paid subscribers, mostly international, because that's where the majority of their revenue came from. So that's very, very, very good. And then we're also talking about that they are going to be cash positive by next year. This year they're going to be neutral. And what that essentially means is that they are no longer going to be in debt. Like they cleared out their debts. The studios are pretty much paid for. They basically just, from next year, from there on, they're all about bread. They're going to be collecting nothing but bread, no matter what they do. So that's very good. And so also too, I think that's the reason why they also talked about a potential stock buyback. And if they buy back more of their stocks, shit, that could send the price going up as well. So that's going to be a huge catalyst for them. So there's very, 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 very good news with them. That's why you probably see all the feeds and articles are popping up and talking about Netflix. So this is very, very good overall in tech and in streaming. That's why if you peeped, Disney and Roku also popped off the news a little bit as well. They ate a little bit from Netflix having a great quarter because they're pretty much in competition. Roku's like the middleman of the entire mix and shit. But they're pretty much in direct competition. But you can see if Netflix reported high subscriber growth, it's a good chance and good probability that people and investors are betting that Disney's going to follow suit. And of course, it makes perfect sense because I mean, you have so many blockbuster hits and so many different titles on there on Disney Plus that it makes sense for them to actually hit that paid subscriber growth. But that's going to be the key difference: are they going to have a significant increase in their paid subscriber growth, or are they just seeing just subscribers like trying it out and stuff like that? And that's going to be the key difference between them and Netflix. And that's what it's funny because I was even on the Netflix call listening in. Homie literally said the Netflix is going to be the number one in streaming and not scared of Disney. Crazy growth last year because we got them printed from these paid subs, son. I mean, he didn't literally say that, but that's how I took it. Like they were definitely flexing hard against Disney and their Disney Plus because, as everyone knows, Disney Plus has been killing it. It's been killing it over the years, man. This last couple of months alone, they've been killing it. So that's what I'm going to be watching very, very closely. I'm going to be watching Disney and Roku for the next couple of days and see how they're going to be digesting this information. I believe Disney reports in February, so that's a long stretch from there. And yeah, what else is happening? Oh, yes. So tomorrow, to wrap that's all up, tomorrow, we're going to have the inauguration in Trump's farewell rally. And that's going to be interesting because if you are trading on the day that the Capitol Hill being terrorized and vandalized and all that good stuff and bad stuff, you know what I mean. If you're watching the stock market during that time frame, you'll notice that the stock market took a huge plunge. And so no one knows what the fuck's going to happen tomorrow. So there's a lot of what's the word? Like not resistance, but not skepticism. A lot of reservations. Let me put it that way. A lot of reservations about what's going to happen tomorrow. So I think it's going to be kind of slow because the market's going to probably be thinking oh, let's see, something might happen. But we shall see. I'm going to keep an open mind of that. I'm going to keep a positive outlook on that as well. Because but you got to be prepared. That's all you can say. It's going to be prepared. So that's why I'm going to be watching TLT and The Spy tomorrow. I'm going to try my hardest not to make any plays, and it's going to bring me to this. I made some trades today. I'm glad I did make one of them, though, and that's going to be the Disney 200 call for April. The reason being is because, like we said earlier, Netflix killed it today, and Disney basically kind of ate a little bit off of that. And so those premium on those plays that we've been holding for a little bit, and we paid a significant amount for them, so we kind of averaged down. We paid roughly about $480, so we averaged down to $480, $440. So hopefully we're going to be recuperating that. But I'm pretty sure we are, though, and then some. Because this is a whole psychological level right now. It's 175, 180, and I'm pretty sure that Disney's going to be breaking out of this pretty soon. Before April, at least. least, for sure. For sure. So I'm strong in my convictions. I'm holding to it. I'm not steering away. But lastly, the last trade that we made for today was 100 shares of AREC. Now, when Janet Yellen was talking about the whole EV infrastructure and basically just improving the economy and trying to do everything on a U.S. basis, I was thinking, like, what about materials? Like, what are you going to need materials for that type of thing? And, like, I couldn't think of any materials based company that was US based that was like And funny enough, as I was thinking about it, shout out to the Chad and the Cult baby. What you got? They brought this up, American Resources. And so I was like, you know what? I might as well jump in myself. So I bought 100 shares. This is something that I'm not going to be holding on for the long term. This is something I'm going to be flipping within a couple of months to maybe even less than a year, or for a year maybe. But we'll see. I'm just going to see how it reacts to the EV market and just tech sector, building supplies, all that jazz overall, and just see how it works. I mean, it's decent, to be honest with you. I was looking at the technicals afterwards, like it's pretty decent. So we'll see. We shall see. As far as what I'm watching tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, just be prepared. Like I said, tomorrow's the inauguration and Trump's farewell, possibly a farewell party or rally or whatever you want to call it. And so that's going to be important with the market and see how they're going to react to that. But these are the 5 stocks that I'm going to be watching tomorrow. AMD, simply off the strength that I saw that there was a miniature pop. Watching Intel as well to see how they correlate, because their Intel reports on Thursday. And so if they do bad, AMD might take up the slack. Disney, already explained. TLT, also like Yellen mentioned, it's things about bonds. I didn't really hear much of it, but I do know that she did speak that they're going to like keep interest rates low. And so that's why I'm going to be watching TLT, because the interest rate's going to be fluctuating within the 20-year treasury yield. And as we know, TLT might be a good hitter, because it might be in the works coming in the next few months. Also going to be watching gold to see if investors going to be rushing into it as a safe haven if anything happens tomorrow, and SPY to see if the overall market is going to be dropping and how they're going to be processing tomorrow's events. So that is my watch list, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you guys did well today, and I hope you guys are staying positive. And remember, tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow's another day. If you lost money today, you'll probably get it back tomorrow. And if not tomorrow, there's the next day. If not the next day, there's the next. And therefore, then you know what it is. You know what it is. All right. But much love, y'all. Peace. Keep it locked. Hey.